Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the channel today. I know this reaction video is a little bit later, and I know that the Habs lost to the New Jersey Devils, who are on even more of a hot streak now, winning their 10th game in a row. But you know what? I wasn't not going to talk about this. Things got busy over the last 24 hours, and here I am. So we can now talk about this game quickly, and also about a little bit of news updates for the Habs heading into Columbus for their matchup tomorrow. So that being said, you know what? I don't have a ton to say about last night's game, other than the main theme of it for me was that the Habs couldn't capitalize on their scoring chances, and they had a few glorious chances in the first and second period before New Jersey essentially took over this game, I guess. But I mean, it was 3-1 late in the third period, and then they finally went up 4-1 and added the empty net goal for the 5-1 to make it 5-1. But to me, this was like, I can specifically think off the top of my head of the scoring chances that were missed. Nick Suzuki had a glorious chance. Maybe it wasn't glorious, but he ended up dishing it to Cole Caulfield, who couldn't get off a good shot. This is in the first period. And I felt like on that sequence, Nick should have just kept the puck, and I thought he was going to, and just drove to the net. And we know Nick Suzuki's smarts and how he can just, go to the net, or he just knows where to put the puck. In other words, this is what I'm trying to get to. And Caulfield just couldn't get any wood on it at all. He was on his, even if he was a left-handed shot, I don't know if it would have been much of a better chance because the New Jersey defender was there. But even after that, Brendan Gallagher made a nice dish right out front to Christian Dvorak. He couldn't get a lot of wood on it and just couldn't bury it there. Slavkovsky got another good chance in the first period. He had a couple chances, actually. He had one off the face-off that just went off the New Jersey goalie's mask. And I got to pull up New Jersey's goalie, because I got to give him credit for that game last night. He did play pretty well, but I also thought Jake Allen played pretty well. But continuing back to Montreal's missed scoring chances, I mean, yes, Dadonov finally got his first goal as a Montreal Canadian. You could see the smile on his face, the relief on his face. It was an empty netter, but still a decent goal nonetheless. But, it just was one of those games where if Montreal wasn't going to capitalize early enough, they weren't going to have a chance to win, because they had a lot of glorious chances, I felt like, in the first and second period. Now, I know New Jersey had them hemmed in quite a bit, even in the second period and also in the third. But I just felt like the way Montreal was playing, they had their chances early in this game. And if they weren't going to bury them, it was going to cost them. And then eventually it did. So I will go back to I just want to jump right into the next subject here, because, again, you guys watched the game, and it's been long enough since the game, so you guys have had plenty of chance to get some breakdowns. But Mike Matheson is now in a full contact jersey, which is great news. He's joining the Habs on their trip to Columbus. Hasn't been cleared to play yet, but he might on this road trip. So that brings the question, who comes out when Matheson comes in? So based on, what's been said out there about Arber Xhekaj and whether or not he should come out of the lineup, if one player is to come out of the lineup, I wouldn't mind him going down to Laval. Now, the reason I'll say that is because, and I do agree with Eric Engels on this, it wouldn't really serve any of the Habs young defensemen, based on how well they've been playing, for them to just sit on the sidelines and the Habs to keep an extra defenseman. As we know, also, Rem Pitlick was recalled from Laval as well. He had 3 assists in 3 games over there. But as far as who comes out for Matheson, because we know that Matheson, when he does come in, is going to help the power play. And we know Xhekaj's been on the power play, getting an opportunity there. But in terms of overall play, I mean, last night Xhekaj took what I felt was an undisciplined penalty, and he has taken a bunch already this year. As good as he's played, you kind of have to look at, the maybe flaws of his game right now in order to decipher what the best decision is for the Canadiens, because they do have to send a player down most likely here. And I think Xhekaj, being the type of player that he is, facing everything that he has, being undrafted in the OHL, being undrafted in the NHL, having him sent down to Laval, I think, it's never a situation that lifts your confidence, I don't think, as a player. I think most NHL players will admit that being sent down to the minors is not a confidence booster. It's more of a development decision in this case. But I think, if anything, Arber Xhekaj is going to be more motivated than anybody that would be sent down. He won't piss and moan. He won't put his head down. If anything, he's going to put his head up, and he's going to go out there and try to play his best hockey and learn and see how he can correct some of the early flaws in his game, which really, for me, is just discipline a lot of times. He still makes decent heads-up passes. He's trying to lay the body a lot, maybe more than anything else. He's trying to look for the big hit, and I think that it would serve him well, potentially, to play down in Laval and just prove to the Canadiens, like, I don't belong here very long. Or maybe he has a longer stint there, does really well long term, maybe helps Laval get to the Calder Cup and get a Calder Cup. They got so close last year. But, I'd love to get you guys' opinion on that, because it does sound like a defenseman's going to have to come out. Chris Weidman is already sitting on the sidelines, as we know. He's a veteran guy, but he was told, Chris Weidman was, that this could happen, that he would have to sit out a bunch of games this season. So I do want to go back to the Habs New Jersey game just for a second, because there are some quotes that are coming to mind here when it comes to the Habs responding in their post games last night. So Nick Suzuki felt like the Habs could have played a lot better, and New Jersey seemed to take over. And Martin St. Louis specifically even saying how New Jersey plays a game that Montreal is trying to play. And that was very clear, because it was a run and gun game. You could see New Jersey using their speed quite a bit, pushing the pace of play, and really ultimately taking over the game and capitalizing on their chances, specifically on the power play. We saw Jack Hughes getting the opening goal. And I felt like when he scored that goal, that was an early sign to me that, the Canadiens are going to pay for not capitalizing on their chances earlier. But Joel Edmondson had a great quote. He had a great quote after the game, saying how he does feel like the Canadiens have been playing very well, and that they can take on anybody in the NHL right now. He feels like they can beat anybody. So that was kind of good to hear as well. But Nick Suzuki, being the captain that he is, kind of saying more the right thing of, he felt the team could have played a lot better. But, Caulfield was coughing up the puck. The Habs were turning over the puck quite a bit. And New Jersey just ultimately made them pay for it in the long run. But I didn't think the Habs played a bad game. I just think that they couldn't capitalize, like I mentioned. That was the main theme of it. So I just want to touch on that again for a moment. That's pretty much all I got, guys. I want to hear your thoughts down below, more on the game, more on who you think should come out of the lineup for the Habs defense when Mike Matheson does return. I just think it makes the most sense for maybe a guy like Arber Xhekaj to go down, because he has made the most mistakes. And that's not just to punish him. That's not the only reason. It's just that Jordan Harris has been playing a lot better. Caden Gooley has been playing a lot better. Even Kovacevic, he's been playing really well. He's been pretty steady overall too. And he's a right shot defenseman. So you kind of need him, but that's not the only reason. He's actually just been playing well. That's why you want to keep him in the lineup. And then you got Chris Weidman to bring him in here and there. So I think it would just be best suited, and it wouldn't surprise me if Xhekaj does go down to Laval. If anything, a guy like him would play pissed off in a right way, because he knows that he can play in the NHL. He's already shown that, but he just has to make some tweaks to his game, and then he'll be back up in no time. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Talk to you real soon. Go Habs, go. And yeah, talk to you soon.